Hey everyone, in this video I'm sharing how I make a rinse-off foaming cleanser. This cleanser is inspired by the Clinique rinse-off foaming cleanser mousse. The cream mousse foaming cleanser is designed for different skin types. On the website, it states to lather into a rich foam to rinse away pollution, dirt, excess oil, long-wearing makeup and sunscreen quickly, gently, and effectively. Leaves oily skin feeling fresh and clean, non-drying, non-stripping. The written formula with more information regarding the ingredients in the Clinique product and the ingredients I used is in the written post. The link to the post is in the description. Here, I'm starting with Phase D. The amounts I give you here are for a 100-gram total product. I begin with 20 grams of distilled water. To the water, I added 0.2 low molecular weight of hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid, when in its pure form as a raw ingredient, is typically a fine white powder. Low molecular weight hyaluronic acid is usually a finer powder, which tends to dissolve in water more easily than high molecular weight hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is known for its ability to retain moisture. It can hold up to 1,000 times its weight in water, which helps to hydrate the skin, even in a rinse-off formula. The hyaluronic acid gives deep hydration that improves the skin texture. I sprinkled the hyaluronic acid on top of the water and let it rest for a while. The hyaluronic acid will swell and eventually dissolve in the water. Hyaluronic acid is a biopolymer that is sensitive to heat. This is why I will add it later on. Now I add the Phase A ingredients. I use 25.8 grams of rose hydrosol. You can use distilled water instead. Also, in Phase A, I added 8 grams of glycerin. Glycerin is highly effective at keeping the skin hydrated. As a humectant, glycerin ensures the skin stays hydrated after cleansing. I am moving on to Phase B. This phase is a combination of 3 surfactants. I combine 3 mild surfactants, similar to the Clinique product. The first one is SCI. I use 16 grams. When working with fine powders, use a respiratory mask to avoid irritation. Combining 3 mild surfactants gives this product great cleansing abilities, without causing skin irritation or stripping away its natural oils. This makes this product suitable for many skin types. The following mild surfactant I used is SLSA, sodium lauryl sulfoacetate. I used 8 grams of SLSA. This surfactant also comes in the form of fine powder similar to SCI. SLSA is often confused with sodium lauryl sulfate, SLS, but SLSA is much milder and is suitable for sensitive skin. Despite its mild nature, SLSA produces a rich and luxurious foam. SLSA tends to produce more foam than SCI. Next, I added 8 grams of cocoa betaine. Cocoa betaine is less irritating than many traditional surfactants and can also be used for many skin types. It enhances the foaming and cleaning capabilities of the final product. I gave Phase B a little mix before I moved on to Phase C. Mixing Phase B will create a very thick paste consistency. I will heat this phase and add it later to Phases A and C. Moving on to Phase C. The Clinique product uses an emollient and texture enhancer to achieve a soft and smooth feel to the product. I chose jojoba wax for this function. Jojoba wax is considered non-comedogenic and suitable for sensitive skin as well. I used 7 grams. I used 4 grams of glycerol stearate citrate. Glycerol stearate citrate is an emulsifier with conditioning properties. It helps to create a smooth and conditioning product. After preparing phases A, B, and C, I place them into a double boiler for 25 minutes on medium heat. A glycerol stearate citrate melting point is 60-63 degrees Celsius. The jojoba wax has a higher melting point, around 65 to 70 degrees Celsius. Hyaluronic acid takes some time to disperse into the water. It took around 2 hours to disperse fully, but it can take longer. I checked it now and then until it was ready. Here you see that with time it dispersed completely. I checked phases A, B, and C before removing them from the heat. After removing them from the heat, I combined first phases A and C. When phases A and C were emulsified, I added phase B. When I add phase B, which are the surfactants, I add it to the emulsion and mix to combine it. Mixing phase B will create foam, and the air from mixing will also make mousse consistency. I added some mica powder for color. This is optional, and you can leave the product white. The mica color I used is coral pink. After adding the mica powder, I mixed it to combine it. Before adding the other phases, I checked that the temperature is less than 40 degrees Celsius. I added phase D, the hyaluronic acid, with the water. Some active ingredients are sensitive to heat. This is why we add them after the emulsion temperature is less than 40 degrees Celsius. Lastly, I added phase E, which is the last phase in this formula. In phase E, there's the preservative and propanediol. I added 0.8 of the preservative and 2.2 of propanediol. You have more information on the ingredients in this formula in the written post. I checked the pH, which was a bit high, so I added a few drops of lactic acid to lower the pH. For this rinse-off foam cleanser, the range of 5.0 to 5.5 pH level will be good. You can repeat the process of adding a few drops of lactic acid solution, mixing it, and rechecking the pH level. It's better to add only a few drops each time and recheck until you get the desired pH. I used tube containers for the rinse-off foam cleanser and a syringe to place the product into the tubes. Since the Clinique product is designed to remove makeup and sunscreen, I put some sunscreen and makeup on my hands to test the cleansing abilities of my final product. It did remove the makeup and the sunscreen effectively.